Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Sexless Marriages. And I want to give a shout out to a gentleman who wanted this topic, Koazi Bako. And I hope I pronounced your name right, brother. But sexless marriages. I'm going to tell you what, man. A reality out there. I mean, I know we talk a lot about women cheating and doing this and that, but it's scary that I personally know some folks who are married, but the amount of times they have sex is once a month, which if you have sex less than 12 times or less a year, that's considered a sexless marriage. And I actually know some people like that. You know, sometimes you get some people out here and they try to act like, oh, I got it together. You know, we've been married for so long and all of that. And you're like, okay. But then somebody close to them and say, you know what? They don't even sleep in the same bedroom. You know, which by itself ain't a bad thing, but that's another video. But they not having sex, they not having relationships, they basically roommates. And I've met so many, like I said, I know more couples than I know about should do this. I mean, like, I know one woman, I be trying to get her husband laid more than she does. I be like, yo, why don't you go break your husband off something? Like, she be shaking. She, by her own words, we more like roommates. You know, and it's been that way since pretty much the beginning. You get some couples like that, they might come together long enough just to, like, have a baby. But at the same time, that dude might want to do a paternity test or something. But you just get that. That's a lot. See, a lot of people, it's mostly women, right? A lot of women, they want the status, but they don't necessarily want that particular man. And they might not want to cheat, you know? They might just be like, you know what? They want the status. So, you know, they might endure the man doing his business at first, you know, once they get that baby, but then they focus all their energy on the baby. Because you do have a lot of women out here, and those I'm focusing on the women for a reason, right? For this part. You know, a lot of women out there, you know, they want the status. They don't want it. Their sex drive isn't as the same as other women's. You know, might have some serious repression issues. And so they get in that marriage and then they ain't trying to do anything. And then you get some dudes, though, you know, they might not have got that much growing up. You know, maybe had little experience or might be ultra religious or something. And then, you know, once you get married, that doesn't really change up. You already used to not getting some. And see, one thing about that, let me get into that sexual repression thing, because that's the only way you could have a sexless marriage. There's got to be some serious repression going on there, right? You get some people, you know, their sex experience is very low. You know, they those types who can't pay a woman to have sex with them, with the men, and some women especially who just, you know, they were just relentlessly bombarded with the idea that sex before marriage is wrong. The problem with that is just because that person get married, that shit just don't go out the door. I'll give you an example, real world example. The military. If you think about it, right? Say you have somebody, they just kind of opposed to taking a life. You know, that's just not them. They're not built for it. They're not a killer, right? And suppose whatever, especially back when they had the draft, they were in the draft and they couldn't effectively get away with the conscientious objector thing. In fact, they might not even want to, right? They might not even want to. They might really want to fight for God and country or whatever. God, country, you know, a corporation. Oh, yeah, I had to throw a conspiracy thing in there, you know. They might want to fight for those things. But if they're not a killer, even if you put a gun in their hands, they still not going to do anything. You know, there's been reports of like a lot of dudes who, you know, people, they be in warfare and be a firefight. They not really trying to aim the gun. They just spraying. And it's not out of a malicious thing. If you that far away from your opponent, It's hard to put, think in terms of killing them. You know, it's hard to. If you're not a killer, you're still not going to do it. And if you do it, you won't feel a certain way. Because that's something you gotta live with. I'm gonna share something real quick about that. I mean, just on a little tangent. I remember my step grandfather fought in World War II. He was in the South Pacific, and he was on patrol one time. Came across a Japanese soldier, but if he had shot him, he would have had to give away his position. So he bayoneted him. So it's a difference. It's and that still affected him till he died. If you're not a killer, you're not going to be just saying you can kill. You even get an award, like a medal for killing. You still gonna have problems with it. Well, it's the same thing with sex. I use that analogy to say the same thing with sex. If you tell somebody all their lives sex is wrong, or they got some sexual hang-ups, or they got very little sexual experience, and for whatever reason they either repressed or they figured out or they cope with it to the point where subconsciously they don't feel like sex is that important, them getting married and you telling them to have sex, that ain't going to change overnight. They might do something, but there's still going to be some discomfort. That little ceremony don't change anything. So you get stuff like that. And I mean, of course, there's some other situations, I know about this, where somebody might marry somebody just to get out of a bad situation. A lot of women will do that. A lot of women will do that. They will marry somebody just to get out of some situation. I met some women, they got married, just to get out of a poor environment, but they weren't feeling the man. And, they'll do something. They'll give them a little bit. But then what happens is once you get stuck in there, nobody wants to go through the divorce thing. And in fact, sometimes in those sexless marriages too, you get some guys, you get some women, not so much the guys, because guys, we still possessive, but you get some women, they'll tell you, they'll let their guys cheat, and they'll know it. They'll just be like, you know what, just be clean about it. Give them condoms, because they don't want to fuck their husbands. So that's a lot. See, the marriage rate is already bad, but then you have to say, well, how many of these people are having a really fulfilling marriage? Because, and that's the thing, that's a trick. Even some trick I can get caught into. Sometimes you can see the couple and everything, but you don't know what's going on with it. And like I said, that's big. I mean, so many, or you get some couples just grow out of it. They become more like friends anyway. I mean, there's so many factors with it, but it is a factor. Now, could Rom deal with it? No. I just know that anybody I deal with, we long term. That sex is a given. It's like I can't hang around. I couldn't be living in the same space with a female and that fucking her. That's just even just living together. That's just me. But some people put up with it. Some people do it. And I think it's a lot because, see, here's the thing. You, at the end of the day, you don't know. I mean, you can know personal situations, but you don't know overall situations. Somebody real astute can look at a couple and see the vibe between them. Well, for the most part, I think it's a lot of it out there. It's a whole lot. But couples just figure, hey, we're gonna stick together for whatever reason. And some couples just say, you know what, forget this. I ain't going to do this. We might as well just go look for others. I don't know. But it's an interesting dynamic. Not, like I said, it ain't a dynamic Rom could deal with. But it's there. And, men and women, they get involved. They get involved with it. And they just... I don't know, and like I say, this is an outside looking inside thing. I don't know, they look at the other benefits, having that person right there and stuff, or being able to live a certain lifestyle. But whatever the case, hey, it happens. So anyway, right, that's it for today. I'm gonna get back with y'all later. Peace.